Welcome to Build the Weight Loss Practice of Your Dreams. If you have questions about how to build your weight loss business, Carol Clark has answers. Join her each week as she and her expert guests share actionable steps to better outcomes for your clients and more revenue and referrals for you. It's time to experience your ultimate success and enjoy what you do each and every day.
Hi, it's Carol Clark here, your bariatric business coach, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to attract and to lead your dream team. It's one of those topics that either people are really excited about or they just dread, and that's attracting and hiring good talent into your practice. And it's a really important thing because, as you know, you have to surround yourself with great people in order to be ultimately successful. And the people that are in your office are those that are representing you as a physician or as a clinician. They're the ones who are the first line for people who are entering into your practice, calling your practice, inquiring about anything, and also those that are nurturing your patients along the way and keeping them happy and satisfied, and also effectively managing any concerns that your patients may have. So I know you know this, but it is so important. And a lot of times it's a struggle to try to attract the talent that you want in your practice. And you may think, oh, it's just so hard to find good people. And quite frankly, it is. A lot of times you'll have people come in and they're more concerned about their phone and their interactions with their friends, or they're just not reliable, they show up to work late, all those sorts of things. So how can you attract people that are going to be your best ambassadors for your practice? I find, quite frankly, that one of the best ways to attract those patients or those employees is through word of mouth. And it's not an easy thing to do, but a lot of times your stellar employees know other people who would be a great addition to your team. So I tend to typically start there, and then I'll even post it I'll even post it out on Facebook sometimes that we're looking. I'll be very specific about what it is that you're looking for, and not just that you have an open position for a medical receptionist. Really talk about how that medical receptionist, you're looking for someone who has great interpersonal skills, who really enjoys working with others and with patients, and who's caring and concerned. Put out there all the things that you really want in terms of that employee. Reliable. All those things are really important to be very specific so that you attract that sort of a person. And a lot of times you can do it, like I say, through word of mouth. You can try some talent agencies or some agencies in the area. I personally have had very little luck with that. So I've not been very successful in attracting somebody there, and it tends to be very costly, especially for a small practice or for an independent practice. So you can try that as well, especially if you're in dire need and need somebody right away. They can usually provide somebody for a temporary sort of a fix. That's why they're called temporary help. Although I know there have been occasions where some of them have worked into long-term employees. But that's another avenue that you can follow. You can post your listing with your local newspaper online. Online tends to be the best. It's where people are looking for jobs nowadays. You can use some different services like ZipRecruiter. You can use Indeed. There's lots of different ones that you can use, but I would try word of mouth and working through your employees first, because they want to be working with people that are going to be a joy to work with as well. And so a lot of times you can find your best employees through your own employees or through word of mouth. So that's typically about the attraction. Once you get that person that you want to, and you get a great resume, sometimes they're not such great resumes, but you want to take a peek at their resume, look at their experience. It depends on the position that you're hiring for. They may need specific clinical experience, but for front desk, a lot of times the interpersonal skills and that sort of thing is way more important, because you can teach them most everything else, but that personality is going to be key, especially at the front desk and for your frontline employees. So you want to make sure that you're real specific about your job description. You can call it a job description. We have job contracts for a lot of the practices, especially the ones that I've managed. Those are contracts that people understand about what the expectations are, and it's a contract that they're agreeing to fulfill those. It goes way back to Michael Gerber days, if you're familiar with him. With the E-Myth, he talks a lot about the contracts, and I found it to be very, very effective. So interviewing them, and also I think it's really important to take your staff and have them be a part of the interview process, because they're the ones who are going to be working side by side with these people. So you want to make sure they have some sort of an input, and it also helps for them to feel valued. And so that's really important in terms of that hiring process. Sometimes you can even just try them out. You can have them come observe for a day. You need to make sure you follow all the human resource guidelines, but that's a good way to get a feel for that as well, and for them to get a little feel for your practice, and for you to get a little feel about their personality, their responsibility, their reliability, that sort of thing. Just for a day or two to have them come and shadow somebody. That's another way you can help weed through some of the people that maybe aren't as ideal for your practice. One of the things that's hard to imagine, but you always need to know that, everybody is replaceable. So that's why you have that 90-day probationary period, because if it's not working out, you're going to be much better off in the long run if you take care of it right then and do yourself a favor and the other person a favor if it's something that doesn't seem as if it's going to work out. And always make sure you're following your labor laws. So those are some keys to how to find a great employee. And then I wanted to share with you just a few things about how you can lead those employees most effectively. So I'm going to share those with you too. If you haven't read my bestseller book, 5 Profit Engines of a Successful Bariatric Surgery Practice, there's a lot of principles in there about leading employees and leading your team. I find them more to be a team for me versus just employees. They're a team and they're more like family. But you want to be able to motivate them, and you want them to want to perform at their best. And your team, once you build that dream team and you know what that feels like, you never want anything other than that. So I'm going to share with you a few tips on how to lead your team as well. And it's also outlined, no matter whether you're a bariatric surgeon or any physician, there's lots of tips in that book that you can apply from a marketing to hiring to management whole perspective. So I'm going to share with you a few of those right now. And really, you want to make sure that you take the time to meet with your staff and find out what their long-term goals are. And you should help them to grow and support them in their education. So you may have somebody who comes in as a medical assistant or somebody who comes in at the front desk, but they really want to be an RN or an LPN someday. Helping them through that is something that's really beneficial. It helps them want to produce more because you're taking a personal interest in them as well. You may think, oh, but then I'm going to lose them. But really, having them for that period of time is often better than not having somebody who's not as effective. You want to make sure that you do complete your employee performance appraisals. I know I've been remiss in this at times, but it's a great time for you to share what's going well, where they may need improvement, and also see what it is that they're happy about and what is frustrating them, so you can help avoid some of those problems right from the beginning. You also always want to be fair. Playing favorites will get you into trouble and undermine any respect that people may have for you. You also want to follow through on what you say you will do, because people need to know that they can trust you. So you want to make sure that you're following through if you say that you're going to do something. You also want to find ways to recognize and reward your staff. A thank you verbally or with a personal note means more than you probably know. A lot of times employees will save those notes, they'll post them somewhere. It's really, really important to them. And also remembering their birthdays is a nice touch. And also staff employment anniversaries. Team building in a creative way, whether it's a quick game at work, whether sometimes here we've done spooking at Halloween, where we will go around and we'll be the mystery spooker and you leave people things that you know that they like, whether it's some food item or some other something for decoration, that sort of thing. But it increases their engagement, and so that's really important. And also creating those job contracts, which I talked about for each position that the employee signs. It's a job description that's written as well as that contract. And it's mandates the review over their responsibilities and reinforces the importance of really following through on each and every one of them. And like I say, your team is critical. So this is really just some basic tips for what you can follow in terms of hiring that dream team, and also how to keep that dream team around for a long period of time, especially if they're awesome employees, which is just what you want. So hiring them is important, and then also, like I say, leading them and helping to reward them, whether it's a thank you or whether it's something monetary or bonus at the end of the year, making sure that they know that they're valued and that their opinion matters and that they're a part of your team to help problem solve any issues that may come up, and that they have a say in what goes on. So those are really some key things. I hope you find this helpful. If you'd like to share any other ideas, or you want to come on my podcast and share some of the things that you do in your office that's particularly interesting or very helpful to build your dream team, please reach out to me, Carol, Karol, at weightlosspracticebuilder.com, and I would totally look forward to that. So in the meantime, keep building that dream team and taking great care of those patients. Thanks so much. See you next time.
That's all for this episode of Build the Weight Loss Practice of Your Dreams. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and visit weightlosspracticebuilder.com to stay up to date on more ways to build a successful practice that you love with results, revenue, and referrals. We look forward to having you join us next time.